Wakey, wakey, the Kellogg's football camps are here, all over the country. It's game on. Learn new skills, make new friends, and have loads of fun at your local clubs. Grab your boots for a summer of football at the Kellogg's football camps. Parents, buy a promotional pack of Cocoa Pops, Rice Krispies and cornflakes before the end of June to claim a free day. To the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. It's time for another episode of Football Jobs. And this one, with a massive thanks to the Kellogg's football camps, you will hear me interviewing the excellent Aidan Callan, who is the Academy Manager at Crewe Alexandra Football Club. Aidan is a man who knows a thing or two about football and about up-and-coming aspiring footballers and everything else you could possibly want to know. So, let's get into my interview with Crewe Alexandra's Aidan Callan. Hello Aidan, lovely to meet you and thank you so much for joining me on the Football for Kids podcast. To kick things off, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us what you do and why you love doing it?
Of course. So, my name's Aidan Callan. I'm the Academy Manager here at Crewe Alexandra. I've been here for just over 20 years now as a coach and working with different age groups, and more recently, as I say, Academy Manager. So I was a young aspiring footballer back in the day, didn't quite make it. So I'm now hopefully, or I guess I'm doing what I would consider second best thing. So if I'm not playing football, I'm trying to help young footballers on their journey, so it's something I thoroughly enjoyed and get a lot of satisfaction from it.
Well, it sounds like you've got an amazing job, Aidan, and I have got a few questions which I want to ask you, which I know our many thousands of listeners all around the world will be interested in hearing the answers to, because the majority of the people who listen to the podcast are young, aspiring footballers. So, my first question is, why do you think football is important for young people?
Football is important for young people, I think, for a variety of reasons. It can be instilling good habits. It's part of being a team. It's part of improving skills, techniques. And I think it just gives that holistic approach towards developing a number of things. So fitness, as I say, it gives good examples of how to live a healthy life, healthy lifestyle. And it's fun. I think playing football and achieving things and being successful and getting better, I think it's just something that is enjoyable by most people, I think.
Now, Aidan, I know that you work with young footballers and you know exactly what you're looking for. So, what does make a young footballer stand out?
From our point of view, I think we have lots of youngsters who come to our football club on trial initially, and they'll all have at least one sort of talent that is recognisable. It might be they might be very skillful, they might be very quick, but you tend to find out lots more about the player once they enter our sort of academy. So are they a good learner? Are they a good team player? But there's always one sort of outstanding attribute we find to initially attract our scouts, if you like, who are watching games, towards inviting the young player in. So me personally, I like to see technical players who can cope with the football and be exciting and be skillful. That's the type of youngster I like to watch play football.
Well, that's good to know. And my next question is, what training can young aspiring footballers do to improve their game, their ability and everything else that they might need to?
Yeah, I think just by actually playing the game. I think when I was growing up, literally you would play, or I would play, until it went dark most nights, and just practicing. I'm not sure those sort of times are slightly as they were, but I think just practice. Even if you haven't got lots of friends to play with, you can practice with a football, and we call it a ball and a wall, where you're literally passing a ball against the wall with both feet, practicing little skills. I know my son, he's 9 years old. He loves watching YouTube. He loves watching players with different skills, and he tries to practice those skills and put them into games. So there's always a way of practicing, whether, as I say, it's with lots of friends, playing in the actual game, or just being on your own, practicing techniques, skills, just keeping the ball in the air, juggling. There's lots of things that can help you improve.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because Phil Foden was famous for doing that when he was growing up, wasn't he? And apparently that's how he got his first touch to be so good, from non-stop kicking the ball at a wall.
Yeah, that's right. It's something we do at Crewe quite a lot. So in the first 20 minutes, half an hour of our sessions, we literally give all the players a football and say, right, away you go. 20 minutes, left foot, right foot, hitting the ball hard, hitting the ball from different distances. So it's replacing what was probably going on in years gone by. We're trying to still bring that to sort of our coaching programme.
Well, I guess the other amazing thing about that really simple technique, and it's something which Beth Mead said when we had her on the Football for Kids podcast, is it's an exercise which anyone can do, because all you need is a football. And I'm pretty sure you can find a wall somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, something that makes the ball come back to you. So, yeah, a wall's ideal, isn't it? And again, when the ball comes back to you, you can practice receiving it in different ways and taking it perhaps on the half turn and doing little turns. So there's ways of constantly challenge. It can sound quite boring and repetition wise, but it is something that, as I say, if you can mix it up a little bit, just it's still very challenging and rewarding, and does improve you as a footballer.
Okay, Aidan, the next question is, what do you think is the one mistake that young footballers tend to make?
Thinking that they've cracked it at an early age, because there's always room for improvement. So certainly in the academy environment, we work with talented young footballers who, as I say, we're always striving to make them get better, because you look at the best players in the world, Ronaldo, Messi, they're still looking to get better. So we point towards them to say, yes, you're doing well, or you're getting better, but there's always room to keep going, always room to strive to improve. So not standing still and thinking that you've cracked it, that would be my advice as a young footballer.
There's going to be lots of people listening to this who dream of getting into an academy like Crewe Alexandra and all sorts of other ones around the country and around the world. But how do young players listening to this end up in a training academy like Crewe Alexandra and like the others which are very similar to it?
Yeah, I think it's just initially by enjoying football and playing football, whether that's for a local team, a local grassroots team, it could be your school team, not just Crewe Alexandra, but there's lots of opportunities to play at a level that is comfortable for every young footballer, male, female. There's lots of opportunities now. So obviously the more talented footballers might get approached. They might be seen by a scout or a teacher or a coach. So you need a little bit of luck along the way as well, I think. That's something to think about, being in the right place at the right time. But providing the youngsters keep improving, keep practicing, keep enjoying playing the game of football, I'm sure there's chances and opportunities out there to hopefully move through the pathway and play at a good level.
Now, I've got a bit of a general question for you now. As a man who works in football and works with young footballers, what do you think the future of football looks like from an academy perspective? I mean, is the future bright with the amount of talent which is coming through academies like yours and in the rest of the country? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's in a really good place. You've only got to look at the recent national team, how they've been doing in the tournament, reaching semi-finals and more recently finals. Lots of young players within those teams So I think English football is in a really good position. There's lots of talented young players coming through the academy system, not just here at Crewe, but we obviously play against other academies, and I have to say that the standard is incredibly high. Young players from the age of 7, 8, 9 coming through all the way through the age groups. There's some really talented footballers, and hopefully one day the national team can just go that extra step further and turn one of those final appearances into a victory. That's what we're all hopeful for.
Well, hearing that from you is certainly very good news indeed. And my penultimate question is, if you could give one bit of advice, and I know it's really difficult to give just one bit of advice, but what would that bit of advice be if a young footballer asked you for one bit of advice that they could take with them on their journey as a footballer?
It's hard to give one bit of advice because there's so many variables that are involved, but I think continue to love the game, continue to enjoy the game, and continue to practice. As I've said a few times in this podcast, practice doesn't make perfect, it might make permanent. So keep practicing, whether that's in your football setting, whether it's your local team or academy or school, but equally practice away from there as well, because it's important to try and get that extra 1%, try and get better. Not just practicing football, different sports, they can all relate to being athletically equipped to cope with football. So, as I say, don't just focus on football. I encourage young players here to try other sports as well. Swimming, athletics, cricket, whatever it might be, because as I say, there's all these transferable skills that can hopefully help with an aspiring football career.
That's amazing stuff, Aidan, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's so important to just enjoy the game, love what you're doing, and that practice word. Practice, practice, practice. It's just so important, isn't it? And lastly, Aidan, this is more of a statement than it is a question. Would you agree with me in saying that there's just so many opportunities out there to learn, to perfect your craft, to get better experience, get better skills, improve as a footballer, and all of that other good stuff? There's loads of opportunities out there, isn't there?
So yeah, there's lots of opportunities for youngsters to play football, whether it be academies or grassroots football clubs, but equally there's the Kellogg's football camps that are going on throughout the country. There's community football programs, so there's ample opportunities for youngsters to continue to develop their football skills.
That was the brilliant Aidan Callan, the Academy Manager at Crewe Alexandra Football Club. I know that I learnt lots in that, and I'm sure that you would have learnt plenty in there too. So whether you've got a football and a wall, a full-size training area, or whatever it is, just get yourselves out there and practice, practice, practice. And if you haven't already, then please do speak to an adult about signing up for the Kellogg's football camps. Not only will you learn so much there from FA-approved coaches, but I'm pretty sure you'll have plenty of fun whilst doing it. Thanks again to Aidan Callan from Crewe Alexandra Football Academy, and thank you to you for listening to the Football for Kids podcast. So remember, if you know somebody who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly, or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And remember that Kellogg's have amazing football camps taking place throughout the school summer holidays all across the country. In fact, they're in 73 different locations across the UK. The camps are for 5 to 15-year-olds and are in partnership with the EFL, Manchester City, Celtic and Rangers with FA approved coaches. To sign up today, grab a promotional pack of Kellogg's cereal, find the camp code and redeem a free place at www.kellogsfc.com. Terms and conditions apply.